Hey YouTube, thanks for checking this video out. Hope you guys are doing awesome, kicking ass, and it's 2025. A lot of cool new releases this year. Hope you're got your ISOs ready, and best of luck on your hunts and scoring all those grills that you want to pick up this year. We're doing a little something different this time around. I'm not actually reviewing a figure. So I'm coming at you from my display toy collection room where I do some of my reviews and where I come in, take a look around, feel nostalgic, and continue on with life. But for many collectors, there comes a point in time where you evaluate your collection. And I talk about this briefly in some of my other videos where it's like, oh, I've just been looking over stuff, maybe get rid of stuff, trade some stuff, take some to my local comic shop, put it in for store credit, whatnot. But I've been selling on eBay for maybe 3 years now, and also have been active in a lot of the Facebook collector groups. Built up some rapport, have some cool connections, met some great people, awesome collectors, traders, you name it. So I know a lot of people are hesitant about trading or even selling on Facebook, or don't know exactly how to start, or much less even eBay. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably have tons of experience, whatnot, but I'm just reaching out and giving people insight on the method that I take. So as you see behind me, I've got a lot of Motu stuff. I've got that stuff that I'm just listing on its own. Loose figures, complete, boxed, you name it. You know, it's a variety of figures, since there are tons of collectors that collect differently, that look for certain lines, figures, deals, imports, stuff that's already out of circulation. People that came into the collection game late, like myself. Well, since I was a kid, I've collected up until about 2009. So I was, I'm a 90s kid. So I had all the X-Men, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, like you name it. I had a bunch of shit. But because of a career change or advancement in 2009, 2010, I kind of left collecting out. And just some useless information, but just a little backstory. I didn't collect for almost 10 years. I was oblivious to it. I didn't know about the new companies. I didn't know about the remakes or just anything. I was just pretty much, I felt like I was starting fresh. So when I got back into collecting in late 2019, I was just like, you know what? Let me start checking out the figures and action figures and toys that I had when I was a kid. So of course, Toy Biz X-Men, McFarlane, classic G.I. Joe. But I was like, holy shit, some of these figures like really jumped up. And I didn't think I was going to get into Ninja Turtles, because by that time you had old ass Ninja Turtles, and still going for like 50, 60, 100, 120 bucks, depending on the character and the rarity. So I was like, shit, let me just start small. So of course, browsing the internet, checking out eBay, online retailers, you find some pretty decently priced stuff. But I started looking more for local comic shops, and I'm like, hey, there's got to be local comic shops in the city that I was living in at the time. And yeah, I found a good little handful of places that had retro stuff, all sorts of variety, different lines and brands that I was interested in at the time. I never thought I was going to get into Marvel Legends. I never thought I was going to get into Storm Collectibles. I didn't think I was going to get into NECA. I wasn't even a fan of NECA, but after a while, you start seeing things, you see them more often, the advancements, the accessories, the articulation, the paint apps. There's a few things that just fucking hook you in, and you're like, oh shit. And then once you get one, once you get two, that's it. It's another fucking rabbit hole that you just sink yourself into. Like, I never thought I was going to get into Star Wars, because it's never ending. I fell into Star Wars, but real quickly I realized, like, nah, I gotta cut Black Series and Vintage out, because I was just gonna... That wasn't really one of my main priorities, although I am a fan. I'm gonna leave that alone to the more hardcore Star Wars enthusiasts. So, real quickly, right now, my three main lines: Ninja Turtles, Master of the Universe, and not necessarily a line, but sort of like a mix of things. I like 90s gaming characters, more so like Sega Genesis and Nintendo type stuff. And then a notable mention, 1989 Batman, or just the Keaton Batman. And another little bit of useful information, or just something that I experienced. I had acquired quite a bit of items throughout 2019 and early 2020. I kind of went crazy, and it wasn't until the lockdown where my particular field of work was shut down about 50%, so I could only work somewhat one of the stores that I was working at was deemed essential, so I still had a job in that sense, plus working out of home. But it was difficult to visit clients and do the type of things that I would do on an in-person basis. So I thought, man, like, how am I going to get extra financial help or the type of funds to kind of help balance out the work that I'm missing out on? And I just looked around and I'm like, shit, like, I think maybe now is a good time to start selling on eBay. Now, eBay is not the only online site where you can buy, sell items, collectibles, and whatnot. At this point now, you've got several number of places to choose from, a lot of online domains that you can participate in, and not that one's better than the other. At this point, it's really just preference. I'm just more comfortable with eBay because that's what I grew up with, that's what I know, it's been out there the longest. Fees are, I think the fees could be a little bit more fair, but I get it, everything's fucking taxed, and sometimes you got to take a hit. But if you do find an item or have an item that's out of circulation or whatnot, you're still going to make a decent profit. So I treat eBay more as like, I just need to move stuff quick, because in my local groups, people are very particular about what they look for, and Facebook sometimes, although there are a lot of good people, good purchasers, people that are looking for certain things, you typically sometimes tend to sell below the eBay price just to avoid the fees. So first I want to talk about selling on eBay before I get to how I started with the Facebook groups. So with eBay, if you're not experienced, like when I started back in early 2020, it was a lot of trial and error. My first few sales were almost losses, and although I did get some money back, I also had to consider shipping and sometimes offers, or if there's things that I bought at a certain price, I tried to price them at that same price, or if I opened it, or if it just didn't meet some sort of criteria, you're gonna take a hit first couple of times. Consider that you're not gonna make $100 right away on eBay. Like, there's, especially if you're not experienced, but if you know how to do it, then yeah, of course you're gonna make some good profit. But also, that's a thing, depending on what you're selling, do research on it. See if it's something that people are looking for. See if it's a sought after product. See what's been selling. See where it sells and for how much. And then there you can kind of gauge your price, whether you can go a little high or you're going to have to kind of bargain with the person. Personally, I like to see the sold listings on eBay, and whatever it is they're selling for, maybe knock down $5-10, just so that it's a little bit competitive and it brings some attraction to your item that you want to sell so that it can move quickly. Especially if it's a sought after item, character, or brand. That's those are the things you got to look at too, because for instance, Ninja Turtles, you've got Playmates, you've got NECA, you've got Super 7, now you've got Joy Toy, you've got other versions of Ninja Turtle Playmates that people really don't care about. So you got to see which character and what line and what brand they the ones that are moving more, and then therefore you can kind of gauge out what you want to sell it for. Or if you're buying, search around, throw out offers, and see what's available, because there's a lot of places that you still will find good deals on certain lines, brands, and especially if it's vintage or an off-brand, out of circulation, like NECA or a lot of people talk about Super 7, but we're not going to get into that at the moment. And just a little side note, whether you're buying or selling, there's two important factors that you got to consider, or at least abide by: honesty and integrity. Now, there's been plenty of times where I list something without researching it, and I'm selling it for way cheaper than what it's going for. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but you list something for like $35, and you bought it, let's just say you bought it for $20. So okay, there's a $10 profit there, but you factor in shipping, well then you're going to take a little hit on the shipping. You're not going to make too much personal profit. But it's not until after you list it, you research the product, and you realize it's going for almost 3 times as much. Don't change the price. Don't take it down. Don't tell the or if the buyer offers you something, don't be like, okay, I'm not going to sell it to you or whatnot. Then it's kind of bad business. And if you're doing it on your own, I guess it doesn't matter, because nobody can tell you anything. But just from a personal standpoint, and just partaking in that type of transaction, just don't Don't go back on your word. If you list something and you've already offered it to somebody and the transaction is going through, just hold up your end of the bargain. And same thing for buyers. Ask questions, know what you're buying, ask for pictures, because there's plenty of times that, granted it hasn't happened to me, but I've got a lot of friends that sell something and they package it perfect. They give them the exact item that, they ask the questions, and you think the transaction's smooth, but then they get like, oh, I want a refund, it came damaged. Well, that's on the carrier, but of course a deal can be worked out at that point. Or oh, this isn't the item that I wanted, but everything was in the description. Did you not read the description? So one, buyer beware, ask questions, read the description, check the pictures. And as a seller, just be honest with what you're selling. That's it. So for eBay, navigate the site, check out different buyers, check out different sellers, check out different accounts, different sellers, the items that they have, and compare them to other similar listings. Also, scroll down. Make sure that it's coming from a domestic address. Sometimes, most of the times, you have something from like Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong, China. One, it's going to take long, especially now with, international shipping tariffs that have changed, and it might not be authentic. You might get ripped off. It might be a bootleg, or you might get a completely different item than what's on the picture. And it's happened to me before. I ordered off this site from China. I was ordering 4 Marvel Legends. It took about 6 weeks for them to arrive to my address. But when I got the notification that I got my delivery, it said that it was delivered at my mailbox. And it's like, that box does not fit in my mailbox. Long story short, I get home, check my mailbox. Well, because I was living in an apartment complex, so you have got the mailboxes designated for the different apartments. And I open it up, and it's from the carrier. It's from the website, but it was a pack of 6 fucking N95 masks. I was pissed. I paid with PayPal, so I put in a claim with PayPal, took pictures, sent in what I ordered, what I received, and I got like a 70, almost 80% refund. So it was maybe like $15, $20 short than from what I had paid, and I thought that was fair. I was like, okay, like I learned, I fucked up, I didn't do my research, I got scammed, I was pissed, but at least I got a good portion of my money back. So just keep in mind, whatever's listed on eBay with all the listings that are available for you to choose from, those are just asking prices. The sidebar, click the sidebar, scroll down, and look for sold and completed items. You've got 2 tabs, sold and completed items. The sold items is what's sold, but that's not always what completed, because sometimes an item sells, but the buyer doesn't pay, so then it's relisted. So you'll see the same picture from the same account. So you can still gauge it in that sense. Look for those. That's going to give you a better idea of what things are selling for. So, and it always ranges. Sometimes people get a good deal. Sometimes people get, they pay a little premium price. But also look at the date of when it's sold, how long ago it's sold, or how recent it has sold. And also you can see the price hikes. Sometimes the older pricings from like a year ago or so, 6 months, depending. Every item is going to vary. Sometimes you'll see a decent price. It's like, oh, well, this item sold at like $35, but back in like June or July of 2024, now we're in 2025, you see the listings for like November, December, and it's about a $10, $15, $20 difference, what have you, for whatever price it or whatever item it is. Because again, it's always going to vary between figure, character, line, brand, etc. And if the account has a little tab to make an offer on eBay, make an offer. Be reasonable, be fair. I've made some offers for certain items where I thought like they're not going to accept it, and I wake up to an email saying, hey, like your buyer accepted your offer, it's been paid for, it'll be shipped at this time, whatever. And I was like, oh shit, they accepted the offer, cool. And sometimes it's like, oh, like I'll send in this offer, but they're not going to accept it. Then they accept the offer, and you're like, fuck. Like, damn, I was hoping they'd cancel it, because hey, just go through with the payment. Just go through with it. Don't be the one to like offer or then cancel the order or ask questions. Hey, is this available? Whatnot. But well, that's actually more part of like the Facebook selling, but it's happened on eBay several times. Don't provoke the sale and then not follow through. Like, really be sure about what you want to buy. because same thing for the buyer. I mean, same thing for the seller. You're not too sure why they're selling, or whatever the reason is. And of course, it's your money. Of course, you can do whatever you want with it, but still, just that's part of the integrity factor that you want to abide by. Which brings me to my next point, scalping. Now, a lot of us shun scalping. I get it. It's like you get a figure, you sell it for X amount over, and people still buy it. Have I scalped? Absolutely. Did I feel good about it? I'm going to say yes and no. One, yes, because it's like, holy shit, like somebody bought it. I made some money, and it's sort of like a little selfish thing. But then again, the demand of the market, circulation, exclusivity, region, figure, whatever. There's certain factors into why people scalp certain things. And people have tried to scalp other things that it just doesn't quite work out. So yes, I'm one of those crazy motherfuckers out there that would pay top dollar for nostalgia, or because I really, really like that item, whatever it is. And I'll pay top dollar if I know I'm not going to find it, or if I keep getting beat out, or if I tried so many times and just failed. And at that point, it's like I've already spent all this time, money, wasted gas, grief, stress, and it's like the $30-$40 markup is minimal to me because it's something I really want. Now, that's that part. Do I scalp now? Not at all. I price my figures, I check them out and see what they're going for. Like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier. I see the going rate on eBay, and then I mark it down a good, anywhere between $5 to $15 less, because I just want to move it. Now, is that still considered scalping? Well, I think scalping, we all have a personal or a subjective definition for what scalping is. Of course, there's a definitive definition, but then it varies from individual and person and group and niche and whatnot. My definition for scalping collectibles or action figures is if you're selling it for more than 50%. Like, let's say you bought something for $20 and you're selling it for 40. If that includes shipping, that's the gray area where it's fair. But if you bought something for $20 and selling it for 50 plus, okay, then we're in the scalping range. Or just like if you bought something for $60 and you're selling it for 120, that's a big jump. Like 20 to 40 doesn't seem like a big jump, but 60 to 120, that's a big fucking jump. And at that point, it's considered scalping. Now, if you bought something for 60 and sold it for 90, that's a gray area where I personally feel is still fairly reasonable. So others might disagree, others might agree, but hey, again, the definition or the concept of scalping certain figures and lines or whatever is subjective, and your own experience or belief or what you think scalping actually is. Just to share, one of my biggest scalps was when Hasbro released the G.I. Joes, the 375 or the 4-inch, I guess, like after the 25, the ones that came out right after the classifieds, and Scarlet was like one per box. That Scarlet was like $12. I scalped that Scarlet, but not intentionally. I put it up on eBay for a bid. I started the bid at like $17-$18. That bid went up all the way to $76 fucking dollars. So, and somebody paid for it. So an open Scarlet figure of just one of the new retro vintage ones, a $13 figure with a price point, or with a fucking bid at $76. I was like, are you kidding? And not for nothing, still it might be scalping, but I had a buy it now at $46. Has that happened to any of you guys? Like, you put something up for bid, you have a buy it now price, but it passes the buy it now price and it just continues to like gain traction. That was one of my biggest scalps. I was like, holy shit, like that was a win. But hey, again, that also goes back to the buyer. It's your money. You do what you want with it, and you buy whatever the fuck you want. And for some people, hey, price is not an option. All right, so selling on Facebook and in the collector groups and Marketplace. Marketplace is pretty safe. I haven't had very many discrepancies or bad sales on Marketplace, and granted, I've met a lot of people in a lot of these Facebook groups where I built rapport, made friends, gotten references from other members in certain groups, and they vouch for them, and everything's fucking smooth. So one thing that you will need for Facebook group posts or Facebook group sales and trades, first and foremost, make sure you've been a part of that group for a good while, maybe at least 3 months, and you've been posting, you've been interacting. And pay attention to other sales, other sale posts, other sellers, and make sure that you see the vouching post. It's like, oh, thanks to such and such for a good trade, or thanks to such and such for a good sale. Look for pricing, look for references. That's one thing that you want to do. And also engaging with certain posts and talking to people, replying to comments, builds a rapport, so that this way, if you have any questions or you're talking to people, you can gain that trust a little easier. There's been a lot of scams on Facebook posts, and I see them every day with all the groups that I'm involved in. But of course, because I take precautions, once you've already practiced it for so long, you already see the red flags. So one thing for Facebook posts, for sales posts, if you're going to sell something or if you're going to buy something, make sure they have one of these, a timestamp, and not a fabricated timestamp or a timestamp on their like text on the picture. Like, you want to see the handwritten name with the date and whatnot. And you also want to ask for references. You're allowed to make posts before making a transaction. It's like, hey, I'm about to make a transaction with such and such. Can anybody vouch for them? And if you get the vouchers and all the thumbs up, then hey, at your discretion, go for it. So that's one. Second, references. I just talked about it. So other than a timestamp, you want to make sure they have references. And message the person, ask them for additional pictures, side pictures and whatnot, so that this way you get different angles of the product or the items that you are trying to purchase or interested in. And same thing, if you're selling something, have the timestamp and have extra pictures ready to go. And for the most part, before I list on eBay, I try to consider Facebook groups, because it eliminates the fees and you can kind of just get a direct price and negotiate with certain buyers and come up with something fair, so that it's a win-win for both of y'all. One, you move your product, you get your money back or a little bit more, and then also the other guy doesn't have to worry about extra fees or eBay or anything like that, and you start to develop some cool connections, references, and Facebook friends through groups. So I think that's one thing that's a positive as far as that sense, because in eBay, I mean, like, it's not a social site, it's a marketplace, but Facebook's just a little different. But I want to give you a little idea of the items that I've started to tear down. And sometimes you don't want to tear down items or sell them because it took you so much to acquire them, or it hits the nostalgic button. But again, with every collector, there comes a point in time where you're just reevaluating your collection, and it's like, personally, I bought a lot of stuff to buy just because, one, I thought I missed out, or just to have, and that's not why you should continue collecting, or that's not why you should collect because it really means something to you. It's like a tattoo. It's going to be with you forever. Although this is an item and you can't lose it or get rid of it, it's also a responsible financial decision that you should ultimately consider before spending X amount of dollars on certain items. So let's take a quick peek right here. A quick peek right here. I've got, okay, now just an example. These are the remastered Playmate Ninja Turtles. They're all the original brothers, complete with their respective weapons. But then here's the bags of their diorama pieces and extra accessories. Now, some people don't care for the extra accessories, don't want the dioramas, and I've seen some places just sell the accessories or the dioramas by themselves and the figures by themselves. So that's where I'm going to separate it. If people want the accessories with it, well then of course we can cut a deal, we can negotiate something that's pretty fair. But I know also there's a lot of kid bashers, custom figure collectors, or people that just want extra accessories that aren't the actual turtles, or they want extra things to kind of help with their either toy photography, their collection, their display, and whatnot, or what have you. So that's why I separated a lot of the little rooftops and the extra accessories that come with it, just to kind of keep it all together. So that's one way I'm gonna be selling these. Now, I personally, I love Master of the Universe. I love to kit bash a lot of the figures and mix match body parts and create my own figure. Like I missed out on the King Grayskull, and I wanted a badass fucking King Grayskull, but I wasn't gonna get that with the Eternia playset because I didn't have $500 to drop on that thing. So what I did was I got myself a Clamp Champ body, and this is the King Grayskull Masterverse head with the Masterverse shield, the cape. It's the Clamp Champ body, and I put just the regular He-Man harness on him. Now I just gotta find some like red boots. Now I did have respective red boots for this figure, but I don't like the creature feet. I don't like these feet per se. And those are the ones that came with Ninjor. So I made Ninjor a little more swift in the feet. Switch his arms off with another character, which I don't remember what character I switched this off with. So I've got my own Kit Bash Motu Ninjor right here, which I personally love, and this is one I'm going to keep. And then I'm trying to make Double Dragon custom Motu Kit Bash figures, and I've got Billy Lee right here. But of course I've got to color the headband. I made it out of a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat Masters of the W head sculpt, and this is the Shawn Michaels body. I do have to cut these tassels off, and I'm going to repaint the vest because I believe he is in a red vest and Jimmy Lee is in a blue vest, but I still have yet to find a suiting or fitting Jimmy Lee head sculpt. The only one that looks very close to it right now is the Duplico, but I'm not going to spend $35 on fucking Duplico just for the head sculpt, so I'm holding off on that before I totally repaint this. So for right now, yeah, that's about it as far as like my Motu kit bashing. And just another quick idea on certain lines that are a little tough to sell sometimes, especially Super 7 right now since they are on sale on almost every site. Just to give you an idea, Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones. Now, I don't want to sell this one. I really like it, but if it doesn't sell, okay, no big deal. I'm selling this figure with its original weapons, not the updated, realistically painted type weapons, but more of the classic type weapons with the hands and that little extra hockey puck that it comes with. I'm thinking anywhere between $20-25. I'll list for $25 if somebody gives me an offer for $20. I think that's still pretty fair. You get it right away. And for people that just want sort of the nostalgic display, well, there you go. You've got the weapons the way it came with the original Playmates. So there's that, because the other updated weapons I'm going to put in a lot with other Super 7 accessories that I have and sell that off as a modding or kit bashing type of set. Same thing for the Toxic Avenger. Now this is the red rage glow in the dark. So if you hold it like black light to it, it glows awesome, glows in the dark. The weapons glow in the dark too. So it's here, it's complete. This one also $25. I think BBTS has it for like $27 and then plus shipping. So I don't think it's a bad deal, but if you want the box and whatnot, then hey, there's BBTS. Or if you want it right then and there and you don't care about the package and you're an open display collector, then hey, it's right here. Great condition, tight joints, hardly moved, because I'm more of an inbox collector, but there's certain things that I like to open, I pose out, I place on my shelf, and they just stay there until either I repack them or just store them away. Not to mention, that's the crossroads that I'm at. I don't feel like I need all these updated figures, although they look really cool. I do have the original right there, the original Toxie and Dr. Killamov, and I even went as far as getting the Trick or Treat Studios one, but I don't fucking need it. I don't need it. I just wanted it because look at the packaging. It's great, and it's like in a like a half toxic, canister, and it's exactly like the original Playmates, but maybe slightly bigger. But at this point, do I really need this, or was it just a nostalgic buy? Yes, it was a nostalgic buy. And then a brand that I'm sure many of us are familiar with, SH Figure Arts. They're imports and they make really, really good figures. Not the little crappy low line SH Figure Arts, like the premium deluxe Figure Arts. And right there you see the Ninja Turtles. No, those were discontinued. They made a shredder prototype, but it didn't even get that far before they discontinued that line. Now a lot of those figures are going for like 70, 80 bucks maybe. I've got the set of 4 that I'm going to sell them for about 50, 55 bucks each. I think that's pretty fair also because that's exactly what I purchased them at. So now I wish I could continue to show you guys everything that I'm working with, what I have in like 4 different bins, what I've got stashed in my closet. I'm a retro guy, so I think I'm going to keep the retro stuff and get rid of a lot of the new remakes. Especially like one of my recent videos, the Spin Master Batmobile. Now that's cool. I'm going to keep that one. I did not get the figures though. The figures look nice, but if I'm going to get those retro Batman Forever figures, I'm definitely going to go with the Kenner ones, not the Spin Master. I don't feel I need to go down under the line, buy another brand or whatnot, because if I want the original, I'll get the original. Now right now, the only thing that I have originally from there is, you see it right there, right at the top? Yes, I've got only the Riddler. Now I missed out at my local collectibles shop. They had the 2-pack of Batman and Robin, or they had the 2-pack, but they also had the Robin with like the face-changing mask. So, damn. Eventually I'll come across that soon enough, but it is not, I'm not in a rush to get that stuff right now. So if you've got any comments, questions, insights, whatever, let me know. Drop it down in the comments. And best of luck to you guys. Buy smart. Don't give into FOMO. Be patient. And keep those hunts furious. Thanks for checking this video out. I appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a follow. I'll be updating you guys with a few more things that I do, and if I do purchase anything else. If not, we'll let you know how how the collection keeps going and growing. So catch you on the next one.